when you hard-headed, life seems to be a lot more difficult. And it seems as if more of us are hard-headed than not. Therefore, a lot of us make things more difficult than they need to be honest with you. And one of those hard-headed things is this thing of relationships. More specifically, getting into relationships when you are just embarking on your healing journey, when you are starting to do that internal work, that shadow work, when you finally realize there's some true healing that has to take place here. Instead of delving into that by yourself, without a secondary around you, instead of completely giving yourself over to this inner healing journey, over to the work of life herself, you run to a relationship. You run to a bae. You go find you somebody or somebody finds you right now. Something most of us don't recognize is there are always going to be people presented to us at every moment of our lives, right? Or at every kind of juncture in our lives. So when you're making a transition point, you're going to meet people, you'll meet a person, and you'll think to yourself, oh, I'm supposed to be with this person. This is my life partner. Not realizing, no, they demonstrate or represent what you just came out of. Right? There are an opportunity to say, that's not the life I'm living anymore. That's not what we're doing right now. Right? And you cleanse out that aspect of yourself that was still attached to what that person represents. So sometimes you will find yourself welcoming that person right in and then getting right back to the very place that you just came from. And that was my own story, right? I was finally embarking on my healing journey. I finally realized that in order for me to come back to a state of wholeness, I needed to let go of a lot. I needed to heal those wounds that I was avoiding and neglecting and coping with as opposed to allowing them to heal. And then I found her. And then we were together. And then, don't get me wrong, it was an absolutely vital and necessary part of my journey, right? All of them were. However, I was still using this relationship as a means to sort of covertly hide myself from doing the work and diving deep, because I always had somebody that I could hide behind, right? I always had somebody that I could maneuver around. Oh, no, I can't. I don't have the time for the meditation. We're finally getting some time together. So, I can't really do all the journaling and sitting there. Come on, let's be real, right? I had all the excuses in the world, and I found myself at a place where I delayed the process for myself and, got back into some of those old habits that were trying to purge themselves and purify themselves from me, right? As my cousin Yasha would say, it's like she says, the grounds will free themselves of those things that have been buried in order to purify itself. Something like that, something real deep like that. So I now realize in hindsight that what I was looking to do was, again, to find a space of avoidance of that internal work. That's what my relationships started becoming. They were representations of the old version of myself that I was not willing to let go of in that very moment in time. I was still holding on to. I felt there was still some sense of value in that old identity. And so I held on to it through another person's representation, right? So let's say I had old habits. Let's say I was, still toking the reefers. And I finally stopped toking the reefers. And then I run into a chick who all she does is toke the reefers. And now I found myself in this relationship where I might not be, but now I'm around it all day and maybe the temptation is high there. And now I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe it's not a problem. And now I find myself right back into that very same place. Not actually dealing with the reason that I was toking the reefers, but instead getting myself right back into square one. Now, I'm not saying you can't heal in the context of relationship. Don't get me wrong here. I've seen people transform together. I've seen this happen in front of my own eyes. However, this does not seem to be the case in most circumstances. This does not seem to be the case in a majority of circumstances. In more cases than not, you're going to have to go through this in solitude. And even when you're in a relationship and you heal in the context of it, you're still doing it by yourself. The other person just happens to be on a parallel journey with you, which is a beautiful thing, but you not only do not need that, right? It is not the actual path. That person is not supposed to be your path. You're not supposed to hold that person as your quote unquote accountability for your own internal realization, period. If you are looking to mature past where you currently are, your current state of consciousness, your current state of living, which you're manifesting in your physical experience, right? If you're looking to go past or grow past that misery and that hatred and that resentment, that depression, that anxiety, etc., you have to be willing to let go of the person that you were, the one who experienced those things, the one who was operating from those levels of understanding, the one who was holding on to the grudges, the resentments, the bitterness, the self-hatred, the shame, the guilt. That person has to be purged from you, which means whatever represents that person is going to be purged from you. So what happens in more cases than not is relationships are actually stripped away from you. When you find yourself finally tapping in with yourself, doing that internal work, right? Cultivating that sense of true self-worth, true self-respect, true self-love. Once you start getting to that space, you're going to have people stripped from your experience. And you'll think to yourself, man, everything's falling apart. My daddy, my mama, everybody around me is disappearing, or the relationship dynamics are disappearing. It might not be the people. It just might be the context of the relationship shifts. And you think that something is happening that is, a terrible experience, something's going wrong, something's faulty, when in reality, this is the path. As I told my homegirl earlier today, I said, this is the actual path. Everything falling to crumbles, falling to bits, to absolute dust and smithereens around you, that's the path. That is the way. Because only upon flat lands can you build your own empire. The only way you can build your own life is when you dismantle the life that everybody else gave you. The life you believe was yours, but not truly yours. I'm telling you right now, you keep running to these relationships and you will forever find yourself in a cycle. You'll find yourself right back in the very same place over and over and over and over and over again. Now, again, will you meet destiny helpers and people who are going to propel you in this journey? Somebody you might have a little thing. Okay, yeah, sure, that might happen. But when you think to yourself, oh, here comes my husband. Oh, here comes my wife. Here goes another 10 years. That's what that might be. Here goes another 7 years of you hiding again. Trust me, we hide behind relationships for all kinds of reasons. Not just to, doing the inner work, just running from your purpose. I recorded a video about that not too long ago. You use your relationship as a means of hiding from your purpose. In the very same way you use your relationship to hide from the inner work. All the things that matter most in this life, all the things that are intrinsic, that you cannot get from the external, you will use a relationship to fill those voids, to fill those gaps, and then you get mad at the relationship, you get mad at the person, and now you have a new grudge to hold on to, right? And a new object of your hatred to put that upon, to project those emotions onto. And guess what? Now you find yourself right back in the same place that you started. And you know what? That's okay. Maybe you got to do 100 years of it, maybe 100 lifetimes. And then you come back and you finally realize, ooh, yeah, that ain't it. That is not it. And trust me, you're going to get hints all the way. You might be thinking, oh, this is my... No, if you've been told, hey, it's time to chill, it's time to heal, chill and heal. Get deep. Do that. That's the wave. That's always the wave. That's always the wave. That's always the path every single time. Right? And I was telling my homegirl, Carrie recently, I said, find yourself in a place where you are so deeply in love with your life that you can't even recognize the people walked in or the person walked in. Get so deeply in love with your own existence, so infatuated with your own living that when the person of your dreams walks in, they're just a blend. They just mesh in like this. You can't recognize whether they came or went because you're just so full. And we get ourselves to that place only when we allow ourselves to go, to dig, to go within, to dig deeper and deeper and deeper and allow ourselves to let go and shed and shed and shed all of that dead weight. It's all got to go. It can't come with you. It can't come with you. As a matter of fact, that's going to be my next video. This stuff can't come with you. This baggage can't come with you. Those people can't come with you. Where are you going? They can't come with you. I'm sorry. They can't. Not this version of them. Can't. Sorry. So, that being said, make sure to get yourself a copy of my first published book, actually. Let me stop treating it like it ain't something beautiful and special. My first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. Make sure to get yourself a copy of this beautiful baby right here. I want to kiss it. Mwah, look at that. Amazing. My first published book, y'all. My book is really... Man, what is the... I say, every single time I got to... Give me some water. That's what I got to do. Love you guys. Peace.